I already did. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, I already fed Neo. That's what I was saying. So yeah, I already fed him. So thank you so much for being here. It's Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday in some parts of the world that we've just been talking about really quickly about that. But today we're talking to my good friend, Theresa Vee. She's here with us, and we're going to be talking about angels and miracles every day. And so part of what we're going to talk about is about reaching the vibrational frequency of your own divine perfection, changing your perspective from illusion to reality, how to live in the world you wish to see without living in denial, the intensity with which you are being pulled into alignment with your highest ideals, what to do when you feel you are lower vibing than all of this. Trust. Trust is a big one. So we're going to talk about all of that and more. And for those of you who don't know, my good friend Theresa, I'm so glad that she's on the show with us today. She's been on the show many times, and she's a good friend. We just had a brief conversation yesterday just because I needed somebody to talk to. So it was great. So about today's show and about our wonderful guest, have you ever longed to find the strengths in your sensitivities and learn how to turn them into your superpower? I know we all do. We all think about it. We all want this, right? So our guest today, our speaker today, is here to help you do that. She works with people who feel that they should have attended Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters before being sent out into the world. And we know there's so many of us who feel that way, that we should have been in that school, and we wish we could still be in that school right now. So Theresa is a visionary, a love warrior, and a fierce stand for peace, who is widely regarded as a presence of unconditional love. And in her uniquely effective way, she has been helping people expedite their healing and ascension for over 15 years. Calling us into our authenticity and full integrity. She's reached over 1 million people as she empowers sensitives to stand in the power of who they really are, so that we can all feel more alive, on purpose, and fulfilled. So I'm so happy and glad that she's here with us today. So please join me in welcoming my good friend Theresa Vee back to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for having me. I love our timing. This is like perfect timing.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's perfect. And I'm so glad that you're here today and to talk about angels and miracles and every day, not just, special, but it's like, angels and, are around us all the time, every day. Miracles are also surrounding us every day. So let's just quickly talk about that first. Like, what do you mean by angels and miracles? What does that mean to you?
So for me, angels are these incredible light beings that have this life purpose to help us to be in our space of peace, right? That's what the angels are to me. Some of us have preconceived notions of what they look like, or, who they are, or how to work with. It's fine. They have really no form. They have no gender, but they do tend to feel more masculine, more feminine to us. So those are the angels. And then miracles is basically we're in the flow. When we're in the flow, synchronicities can happen. There's no limitation to what we can create and co-create. And so to the untrained human eye, that looks like miracles, but what it really is it's just us being in the flow, us being able to move energy and be in alignment with all energy all the time, or as much of the time as possible, because we still are human. But it's that openness, really underneath those two things. I think the key is openness, to have angels in your life interacting with you each day, and also to have the capacity to accept and live in the flow of miracles.
Beautiful. I love it. And that's the thing, it's about being in the flow, right? Being in the flow of grace, being in the flow of higher vibration, frequency, etc. Right? And so how can we're going to talk about this a little bit anyways, because we always do. How can we stay more in the flow, and how can we raise our vibration and keep it at a higher level more consistently and frequently?
Well, I have so much to say about this, especially right now. The first thing to realize is that miracles and being in flow is our birthright.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we were born. That's what we're entitled to, just by existing. So it's our birthright. So it's not something we necessarily have to strive for. It's just something we have to accept as a given in our day-to-day life. And so what rocks us off center is all of the things that happen in our lives that kind of affect our energy flow. They bring us out of that centeredness. So you're in your meditative state, you're at peace, and then your kid needs a sandwich, right? And so now you're kind of pulled out of that, going to tend to this. And it's not that that brings you into a lower vibration, but it brings you into a different vibration, you know. And you can still, we'll talk about this too, you can still do that and be in the vibration, but it's just about how do we control our mind, control the flow of our energy so much that we get rocked off center as little as possible. And that's really the key, is to strive to come back to center as much as possible without moving into denial. And it's really important, especially in these now moments, to realize that the thing that rocks us the most, at least now, is not having control of our thoughts, being vulnerable to other people's thoughts and being told how to think, because there's so many ways for thought forms to hit us right now, you know, and we really have to be centered in our heart in order to vet what gets in, what sticks, and what just bounces off.
Absolutely. And this is something that I talk about all the time too, is about being centered in your heart the best you can. And also at the same time, being aware, right? Being aware of your own energy, being aware of your own thoughts, your frequency. Are you high? Are you low right now? And when you're aware of yourself more and more regularly, right? So you know what that feels like, then you'll kind of know when you're not, when it's not you and when it's somebody else, right? But we have to first make that practice of being aware of who we are and how we function, how we think, how we feel, etc. Right?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. There's also, it's interesting because when we are lower vibration, so normal times would be, you know, if you're hungry, if you're angry, if you're tired, maybe if you're lonely, then you're probably more susceptible to other energies and how they affect you. And so the important thing to realize, you know, for us especially, am I getting swayed by someone's opinion? Am I going like way over here with it? When, you know, does it feel true to me? And sort of being rooted in truth and saying, you know, this feels true. The pieces of this feel true. So let me see how that goes. So we'll start to notice if we get too carried away, like kind of like a kite, or if we're just like, let's see how the pieces that feel true unfold within me. And so knowing ourselves is key. And, you know, also if you live with other people, sometimes if you don't know yourself in that moment, they'll reflect back to you and just be like, what is going on? You know, what is happening?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, it's about questioning, you know, at the beginning, everything, right? Questioning all the thoughts that don't seem like you, that seem different or weird. It's like, what is that? Like, I don't normally think like that, because we tend to know by now who we are, right? And how we think and how we function and how we feel normally. But we can start to question more and more what we're perceiving, you know, and from our heart space, and asking, is that true? Like you just said.
That's true. And there's also, I mean, there's always going to be new information that we hadn't considered before being presented to us. And it's really about running it through our heart monitor and vetting that information. And at the end of the day, for all of us here, it has to feel true in order for us to hang on to it. And I think that is the key. Whatever feels like truth to you is truth. And that's how we come back to ourselves. And if we can't tell in the moment, you know, if oh, I'm intrigued by that, I don't really know how I feel about this, we can come back to it. You know, there's no need to rush a decision about something. We can take our time. And I think that's where a lot of us falter, is we always feel, because we've been deemed sensitive so often in our lives. And it's almost like we've been treated like we're holding other people back because we're taking time to process and we have to work through things, right? So instead of standing in that as a superpower, a lot of times we think of it as a detriment. And so we try to rush to make decisions and come up with formulations or go along with other people or whatever, just to keep the peace, because we don't want to feel the discord or get into the argument or whatever it is. And so we misalign ourselves too when we don't stand in what that truth is for us. So, if we're just staying silent or not participating in order to keep the peace, that's also throwing us off our energetic center and integrity. And, right now, the last few months especially have been really about calling us into integrity with what we're choosing to align with.
Absolutely. I love it. And so I just want to let everybody know really quickly before I go forward some more. We are going to be taking some live color questions. So you can either raise your hand, like we have some hands raised, or you can type your question in the chat. Okay. So, but we're going to do some questions in just a little bit. I just want to cover a few more things before we take those color questions. All right. So let's also talk about, like this reality that we're in. Is it, what is illusion and what's reality, right? And how do we discern, what the illusion is? Because if you go from a Hinduism background, for example, this is all illusion. None of it's real, right? So
yep. That's it. It's basically all illusion. Perfection is your reality and truth is perfection, right? No matter which path we take in our lives, we're going back to the same truth. We're going back to that truth, that love, that oneness. That's where we're all going. And we all have different perspectives of how that looks. And we are all creating with every thought we think. Right. So just think about all the thoughts that you had today that you might or might not have known you had, and know that they all created something. Right. Like, am I really proud of that? So it's just about taking that pause. But I agree. That's my perspective, is everything is illusion, which means our illusion, like all we have to do is change the program and to change what we're experiencing here, because it is all illusion. It's all projection based on our thoughts. And when we come back to the place knowing that divine perfection is reality, right? Even if we perceive that we weren't created perfect, we were created absolutely perfect for the purpose that we chose in this lifetime, for the learnings we chose in this lifetime. Everything that is not divine perfection is illusion, period, end of story. So if it doesn't feel divinely perfect, it's illusion. And, we purposely forget that when we come into incarnation. We purposely forget that, because imagine like remembering that and how much anguish that would cause. So all reality is illusion. We're talking about the places where we've denied that illusion is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're in a situation, very often we see this with addiction, right? Where there's addiction with someone we love and we choose to move really far into denial, to pretend that it doesn't exist so that we can cope, so that we can function within that. And that's a protective mechanism. And we do that in our day-to-day lives also. A lot of times I hear sensitives, especially, saying, oh, I can't know what's going on in the world. Well, denying that this is the experience of the collective right now isn't helping the situation, right? We need to know what it is and then make our choice how to move forward in that. And see, if this doesn't feel like truth or divine perfection, then how can I be the bridge that I'm here to be between where the collective is now and where I know we're headed, back to that perfection, back to that divinity, back to love? How can I bridge from here to there? And that's the thing. If we're missing the here, we're not going to be able to build the bridge to there.
Oh, beautiful. And we can all be the bridge, right? It's not
every one of us,
just, just not just you, not just me. We can all be the bridge, right?
Everyone.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, we have to be aware of what's going on, but that doesn't mean we have to say that, okay, well, what's going on is going to stay forever. And this is it. This is the only reality. This is the only truth. No, this is what's playing out right now, but this can change.
And that's what the angels are for. They are here to help us with every single thing, whether it be finding our keys, finding a parking spot. They're great at that. Creating world peace, dealing with situations, like whatever it is, nothing is too big or too small, because all of those things will bring us into a space of peace. And the thing about the angels, and you all probably have heard this before, they can't help us if we don't ask. We have free will choice, and they honor that every second of every day, unless we're about to get crushed by a truck and it's not our time to pass over. Then that's when they can intervene in order to prevent that from happening. Otherwise, they need to be invited. They need to be asked.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. A lot of times we don't ask for help. We don't,
We
we're not
forget.
specific. Yeah, we forget. We go, into our mind, into our head, into our story, and yeah, we do that. So let's talk a little bit about into being in alignment. That used to be a word I did not used to like.
I don't.
It's like, what does that mean? What does that mean, being in alignment? What am I in alignment with? What am I aligning with? What does that mean?
Mhm.
So what does being in alignment with your highest ideals and the intensity of that have to do with the angels?
Well, the angels are helping us with this. So what's been happening now is we all come in with those things that are dear to us, like those positions we have on life. So for me, my thing is my biggest ideal is integrity, right?
Mhm.
That's mine. And so anything in my life right now that is disintegrous has been falling away, and we're all experiencing that in our own way. Anything that isn't aligning with our highest value is falling away. The illusion is crumbling, right? We're seeing places where things weren't what we always pretended they were or what we thought they were. And so that can be really hard, right? That can be really hard, especially when we're in the middle of so many awakenings in the world. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, and all of the feelings and things around that. So the angels are here to help us. And what they do is they stand with us and they hold us up when we can't hold ourselves up.
Mhm.
And they love us, and I love when they show me this. They always show me, you're sending out desires, you're sending out prayers, and they're moving things around like Tetris pieces in order to bring that, if anybody remembers Tetris,
Mhm.
in order to bring that to you in the most complete and perfect package for where you are now. And so they're always navigating all of the energies of your life with you and for you, whether you call on them or not. They're standing there bored out of their minds if you're not asking them for help. And they're like, why aren't you asking me? I can help. Like, let me go. So
Mhm.
it's like, that's the important thing. They're there to soften the energy for us. They're there to hold us when things get hard. So as we're going through these awakenings, as we're going through these releasements and navigating these energies, they are there to help us through that individually. And also when we make huge shifts, of course, it affects the people in our lives. It affects the collective. They're also there to make that shift with and for everybody else and help everything to be as seamless as possible.
Beautiful. I love it. And they are there to help, but we do have to remember to ask, so please start asking. And you don't have to know a specific angel. We are going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, but you don't have to know a specific angel when you need help. Okay. And so a lot of times, like I was pretty low vibing yesterday. I was a bit better
Happens.
today. Today was up and down. It was high vibe, low vibe, high vibe. Right. So what can we do when we are feeling like we're in a low vibe? And sometimes, I mean, I'll be honest. Yesterday, I talked to you on the phone, right, for a few minutes. That was great, 20 minutes or so, and then I had ice cream. And then I was like, oh, I feel good now. So it was a combination of talking to you and then having ice cream. That's what did it, right? But what could, I know ice cream is not always a good thing, but what sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So what can we do when we are, going through a period of low vibe and we want to like get out of it? It can become a funk, and it could become, seriously detrimental to our health if we continue to stay in that low vibe for a long time.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to just address what you just said about the ice cream, because this is also high low vibe. I food is like a thing that I love, right? I love all of it. So the important thing about when we make choices about having things like ice cream or cake, for us, especially in female bodies, it's important for us to release the judgment around that and spend the time, like, bless the food, thank the cows, thank the dairy farmers, before we ingest it. Because when we ingest it from that place of gratitude, where maybe yesterday you were feeding your inner child, right? Maybe
Yeah.
that's what you needed to bring that energy into wholeness and into joy, as opposed to being like, I shouldn't be eating this. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying you were doing that. I'm just saying it's really important for us to make every experience and every choice we make as high vibration as possible, and we've got to stop feeling guilty for eating. That's one of the things. If I could change the world, that's probably the one thing I would do, is just make us enjoy everything we ingest, because it becomes ourselves. And then if we are bringing in even the worst quality anything from a place of joy and gratitude, that's how our cells are created. So yeah, that feels really important, because I feel like a lot of us have that. But when we're in those lower vibrations, a lot of us, especially spiritual sensitives, we move into stillness, right? We move into that place of like blanket over the head, sitting still, turning on the TV, numbing, going on the phone, like whatever it is that we do that is still. And that's the exact opposite of what would be helpful in that time, unless we're sitting for meditation or we're sitting for prayer. Movement, breathing, deep breathing, pausing, getting in nature. Even if we chose to do the sitting under a tree, in the grass, in a snowbank at this point, like whatever that is, it's like that connection with nature. Play, just take a pause, like stop the thoughts, stop whatever's going on, and just say, what would I really enjoy doing now? Right. And you were sharing earlier, like you had some creative time cooking before, and maybe that wouldn't be your first choice, but it was something you did to change up the energy today. And the biggest thing that I see in our community is the training, the indoctrination of not being able to fully trust other people, of betrayal, not feeling aligned community, feeling like a burden. And one of the biggest things that we can do when we're in that lower vibration is talk to somebody and share it, because right away it gets lighter when we hear ourselves speak it. And you don't have to do things alone. You don't have to. That's an erroneous belief. And this is why we don't call on our angels, because we have this belief that we have to do things alone. And there is aligned community there for us. There's sistering and brothering available to us if we just open ourselves up to that. And remembering that no matter what you were told early in life, or the messaging you received energetically, you are not a burden. You are not too much. We here can hold you. And so those are some of the things we can do to like shift that vibration. But the fastest thing we can do, if you feel like you just want to sit, move, just even if you just do 10 jumping jacks or jog in place for 30 seconds, whatever it is, move your body, get that energy flowing.
Beautiful. I love it. And that's the thing. It's like, we can change our energy really easily and really quickly. We just have to change our habits and our patterns of what we used to do and do something different. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I used to have a friend who used to say all the time, I still have a friend who probably still says this all the time, change a thought, move a muscle. If you want to change a thought, move a muscle, and it will change instantaneously. You can also just do something nice for somebody else and don't get found out. That's always a good way to move out of low vibe energy too.
Absolutely. And trust. What about trust? Trust is a big one. I'm still working on trust.
I think we all are in our own way. And I think it's a constant evolution of deepening in trust. And like I said before, a lot of us have had experiences earlier in life where we were so sensitive to energy that, someone would tell us something and be smiling at us, but we would feel the subtext of the energy and know, okay, this isn't what they're saying it is. And so that's how we started to kind of shun trust and have this idea that not anyone or not everyone is trustworthy. And so we're really careful about that. And when we are reluctant to trust other people, we're also reluctant to trust our team on the other side. And it's almost like, okay, I need to see proof before I trust you, and sometimes that's the way it works. You can say to your angels, I want you to prove to me that you're here. And they love playing like this, by the way. You can do that, and you can increase your trust by playing with them in that way. But there are going to be times with big things, especially, where when you play with the small things, your angels will leave you. Like, I have to say, when I first started angelic communication, I was like constantly talking to them. And I came home one day to my apartment. I lived alone. I opened the toilet and there was a feather in the toilet,
Mm.
right? So how would that have happened? And these are the things that they do for us. So when they play with us in these small ways and leave us these small signs, then we start to trust them more and more. And it works like that with humans too. We give them these little tests and then we trust more and more
Yeah.
and more. And so that's the thing. It's the little things that lead to the big things. You're not just going to meet somebody in the grocery store and be like, let me tell you everything that's ever happened to me and trust that you won't use it against me, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And that's the thing. It's like trust is a gradual process where we're always deepening more and more into trust. So if you don't feel like you have complete trust, that's okay. That's okay. But I'm sure you have more than you did when you were younger, perhaps. But work on trusting. And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the one thing that they always say is it's the willingness, right? So maybe you don't have trust, but you really want to, and you're
Mhm.
willing to play with it and you're willing to explore what that could look like. And sometimes maybe you want to get to the place where you're willing, but you're not there yet. So they always say, all we need from you is the willingness to be willing, and we can start moving energy. And that is amazing because that's just intention. Energy follows intention.
Yeah, beautiful. So just be willing to be willing. Okay,
That's it.
easy. That's easy. We can all do that, right?
Hopefully.
Um, yeah, hopefully, right? Yeah, absolutely. So that was a brief little talk about angels, miracles, in our everyday trusting, being in alignment, right? And part of it is also about trusting that you are here because you chose to be here,
Right.
right? So we all, this is my belief that we all chose to be here, and we all chose to be here in these physical bodies. We all chose to be here in these certain situations that we were born into. We chose that before we came. That's my belief. um, but we
You
don't remember.
chose your parents,
We chose our
just so you
parents.
know.
We chose our parents for a reason, and so, but we forget, when we come here, why we chose that or anything else. And so it's about trusting, when you can trust yourself that, okay, you know what, I chose this, so there's a reason for this. All right, so what am I here to learn? What am I here to experience? What am I doing here, right? And why did I choose that family? Oh yeah, well, okay, maybe, right? So it's about recognizing that and starting to trust yourself, that comes first. Trust yourself that yes, you chose here to be here now. And be at ease with that, because when you it's okay to question everything, absolutely, but there has to be that element of trust in yourself first and foremost. Trust in spirit, trust in your team, but you have to trust yourself as well. We all make choices that are not great from time to time, but overall, we're pretty trustworthy with ourselves, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is remembering that there are some times that this is really hard, right? So I don't want to just sit here and make you think that this should be like a really easy thing and you're doing something wrong if you have a bad day. There are going to be moments, days, weeks where this seems really hard. And, either because of interpersonal stuff or because of things you're seeing in the collective,
Mhm.
you can still hold the intention. And this is what's really important, is you can be present with those feelings, right? You can be there. You can, and don't then go to, well, okay, this situation is happening and I feel bad about it, but I know that I chose this for a reason. So I'm going to just bypass the feeling bad and go right into the place where I know I chose this, right? We have to move through those feelings of,
Mhm.
yes, I know I chose this. And guess what? I'm regretting that choice now. And this is terrible. But I'm going to be with those feelings so that I can move through this lesson and that I don't have to repeat it sometime later on. But while we're doing that, and this is the important thing, we can be in those feelings, because a lot of times we feel like if we're sad or if we're angry, we are lower vibration, right? What we can still be doing when we're with those quote unquote lower vibration emotions, we can be holding the vision of what we know is coming, of what we know. So let's just say you're going through a breakup because the relationship wasn't the right one, but you have this ideal of a soulmate and you know how that relationship feels. You can still hold that vision while you're mourning through the breakup that you're going through, while you're upset about it, while you're moving through the heartbreak. You still know that that is on the horizon. And so that's how we can sort of merge those two schools of thought that spiritual people sometimes get wrapped up into.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This is not about denial. This is not about bypassing. It's about being aware and recognizing all aspects of your life, right? We are multifaceted, multidimensional beings, right? And so we are going to experience different things. And it's not about judging those things, but it's like, all right, this is where I'm at right now. Okay, cool. I don't like it. You can say that. I don't like it. And
Exactly.
then go through the process of look at what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Do your inner work, right? And then keep moving forward. But with support. And this is the thing. Like, keep moving forward, do the inner work, but get the support from the angels and your team. Okay. So just really quickly, when it comes to questions, I don't like to take general questions like give me a reading. If you have a specific question, awesome. But I don't like to do general readings because they're too vague. I mean, the angels could give you a message about anything, but you have to choose, okay, what that is. It just makes it a bit more, I think, helpful and clear. That's my thing, but go ahead.
I just also wanted to say, like, one of the most transformative moments in my life was doing exactly what you're talking about. Like, I was, when I learned that I could be mad at the divine, that I could be mad, it was okay. I wasn't going to get struck by lightning. That was like a moment that changed my life. I would be in my car. I would start screaming and yelling. I would let it all out and throw my temper tantrum, right? Throw my tantrum like the 2-year-old that I was feeling inside. And it was after about a few weeks of this where I pulled the car into the parking spot when I got home, and I just felt like I had nothing left. And then I heard Archangel Michael say, "Are you finished?" And he came in, he wrapped me in his wings. And Master Jesus was there also. And they just wrapped me in this love that they couldn't beforehand, because that anger, that upset was preventing me from allowing that. And I just was like so exhausted and released everything. And so that is the power of moving through our emotions. It takes how long it takes, but when we're done, we move into our heart space and we are in receptive mode more than we would ever be. Blocking those emotions from coming through just keeps adding layers of shell that we can't be in communication with our team the way we want to be.
Beautiful. Thank you. So yes, feel what you feel, right? Without judgment, feel it, but just don't stay in it. I mean, I'm always about like, don't stay in it too long, but you'll know when the time is right to move out of it, right? To when you know you've processed it. It's different for everybody, right? It's different
Absolutely.
for everybody. Okay, Linda, you want to unmute yourself? Where are you? There you are.
Hi.
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 Theresa. How's Robert? Really quick.
Oh, don't ask.
Okay, I
He's
won't.
okay. He's stable.
Theresa.
He's stable.
Okay, are you stable?
In this moment, I'm good. I'm stable in this moment. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
It was a tough day. Yeah.
I understand. Okay, Theresa, my question to you is, I am trying to sell an older car, and what is the best way to enlist the angels, and what do I say so that I can have a better outcome and quick?
Wow. It's so amazing because I'm feeling the energy around that car. Like, you put so much good energy there. And so this feels like a win-win all around. Like, I think older has no bearing on this because it's more well-loved and more wise. It feels like. And so you're gonna need a very special family or person to take this car because of the incredible energy. So they want you to ask for their help and just see the joy and the happiness on these people's faces to be able to have a car, to be able to have this car and to receive the blessing of having this car, and also to feel the joy. This is what I see. I literally see you doing like a jig with a fistful of money. So to feel that joy too, and invite them into this process of saying, I would love to create joy for somebody else, and I would love to create this kind of joy in my life, and this would bring me peace, and this would bring peace to the world because I'm willing to ripple it out. Can you help me? And that's it. And their guardian angels will bring the family to you. You know, you just have to do the legwork. You'll be guided to, you know, list it here or do this or do that. Just do the legwork and you'll be done.
Okay, I have one more thing.
Mhm.
There's these lights. I'm babysitting right now, kind of babysitting. And these lights this one light keeps going on and off every time I'm in this house. And I don't know who it is, but it's really funny. It never does it for anybody else, just me.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, there's so I'm seeing a couple of things. Like your energy frequency is really strong, so you're wonking out the electric a little bit. Like they're showing me the house isn't used to holding that, but it's also your angels. Just you've called on protection for the home, and they're just letting you know that that was received and that they're there.
Oh, thank you very much, Theresa.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Linda.
Same
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to, there was a question just really quickly first before we go to somebody else. 1 second. There was a question from Lisa. One of her questions was, is daily shielding necessary? So let's answer that one first. Is daily shielding necessary?
Okay, so while I'm going to answer this, but I just want to let Linda know, Michelle's pretty interested in your car. If you can see the chat. So that's really an individual situation. So shielding practices are beautiful and really can help us to maintain our own sovereignty, our own energetic integrity. Our angels are always thrilled to help us with shielding. What I've found, especially over the past 5 years, is the energy with which you shield matters. So if you're shielding with this energy, so I'll act this out for you. Okay, I just woke up. There's a lot of stuff going on. I have to protect. Oh my gosh. Like, so there's this anxiety energy and a little bit of fear, right? If you're shielding from fear, then it's not going to be as effective as if you are shielding with the intention that your love, your service, the way you show up in the world can be expanded because you're maintaining more of your energetic integrity. So call on Archangel Michael in the morning, state your intentions, ask him to help you shield for the day. And anytime throughout the day that you start to feel the shield wearing off, do it again. And so it's really the energy. Some people find shielding very, very effective. A lot of people do. So just play with it yourself and pay attention to the energy that you're doing it with.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. The intention that you have for the shielding. That's so important. Yeah, good question. Thank you, Lisa. All right, Destiny, you want to unmute yourself? Hello.
Hi, Lara.
Hi.
Hi, Theresa.
Hi, Destiny.
Oh, wow. I'm wondering if I am in the right physical place. Right now, I'm actually staying at my daughter's because I had to leave my actual home where I live with my mate because I was getting attacked there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if I'm in the right place. Like, am I where I'm supposed to be right now?
So as shocking as this is going to sound, we are always exactly where we're supposed to be at the exact right moment. So you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And when your energy settles and you start to really connect in with your guidance again, because I really feel your nervous system has been just taxed. So I literally see you sitting in a chair and Archangel Raphael bringing you a hot water bottle and soaking your feet and checking on you. That feels like what this time is about for you. It's about settling your nervous system, coming back to yourself. And then from there, if it's time to move on and time to be somewhere else, you'll know it. But always trust that you are in the exact right place right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Destiny.
Thank you, Lara. Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to say too, a lot of us are going through similar healing periods now, and Destiny and anyone who can relate to the deep healing, just to let yourself be in that place. Don't feel like there's anything that you need to be doing differently. Just let yourself receive the healing. Your angels are all around you. Just keep calling on them for strength, for courage, and for healing.
Yeah, absolutely. Cynthia's saying, my family and I have been a little strained of late. What angel would best serve me with this?
So one of the first things I see your home like full of angels, right? So it feels like you've been doing a lot of work calling on help with this situation. A lot of us are having like a little bit of strained family situation now too, because we've been together for so long. So what feels important, I feel call on everyone's guardian angels to come in and be part of the solution. Call on Archangel Gabriel for help in communicating with each other, because it feels like there's ways of communicating that have become habit and have become just maybe a little bit maladaptive at the moment. And to call on Archangels Raphael and Ariel for the healing energy that you all need. Like it feels like heart to heart connections. There's other things that are happening there now too. So to heal all of those energies that aren't serving. And then Archangel Michael, I just see Archangel Michael overlighting the whole situation and just keeping everyone within his protection, everyone within his wingspan. So that's what they're showing me, specific formula to your question and your particular family.
Beautiful. Thank you. Carolyn, do you want to unmute yourself? Carolyn WW.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thank you, Theresa and Alara. Thank you, everyone, for your good questions. I just have a question. I'm over 60 years old. I'm trying to reframe my entire life, as we all probably are right now in this whole experience that we're going through. And there's a deep healing going on. And I am continuously being asked to be in the learning phase. So I'm a gal that was the learned and wise mama, in my past employments. And so I always had, I never thought I knew it all, but I was definitely in a different mode. So right now I'm in the receiving mode of receiving training and teaching. And I'm overtaxed. I'm not employed right now, but I'm helping in different service positions in literally 3 different places. And one of them is particularly taxing in terms of I literally have to learn how to use the computer. I know how to use it, but I've never been trained on, say, Word documentation and all that stuff. I've never was trained in because I never had that in school. And I kind of got by all my life. Even in grad school, I used something different. But anyway, I'm wondering if I'm in the right place to be doing all these other things when I could be focusing on my own project that I'm working on right now that is very dear to my heart. And I'm in the dream phase and really kind of sketching it out and problem solving, and not even problem solving, just seeking out what I should be here doing, because it's right in the tip of my tongue, so I'm wondering if I'm overtaxing in the wrong directions, and what angels are helping me with this, because I can call on them too, certainly. Thank you.
Absolutely. So first I want to say, I love your photo. It's amazing. The second thing I want to say is you stopped yourself when you were going to say exhausting, right? And you tried to find a different word that wasn't what you were truly feeling. So I just want to call your attention to that too, because that feels like it could be something, a pattern that you're ready to break in your life, like to be honest with how you're feeling about things. This is something a lot of us do. And I can say that I've been guilty in my life too, is when we have this creative project that really is coming from our heart and our soul and feels like our life's work, what we do sometimes is pour all of that creative energy into other places so that we don't have to do that project, because what if it fails? What if it's not what I want it to be? Like, whatever the story is underneath why we do that, it's just a thing that we tend to do. For you, what the angels are saying when you're talking about learning all of these things, you can absolutely learn them. And maybe sometime in your future, this learning will be useful to you in some other way. Like looking back over your life, the angels are showing me everything that you've done so far has somehow led you to where you are now. So this might be something for later on. But if learning this just feels like it's taxing you and feels like a job that you're not even getting paid for and feels like it doesn't bring you any joy, but this other thing that you're called to develop may not be bringing you money right now, but you'll be putting the exact same amount of energy into it. Like, they want you to make the choice based on joy for now.
Okay.
You know, it's not like you're not doing anything. It's not like you're just being lazy. They're asking you to make some choices based on joy. It feels like this one thing is just pushing, you know, it's like, oh, I can handle all of these things, but this is just pushing me over the limit. So that feels important. What I see for you, interesting. I see Archangel Gabriel very much around you, and Archangel Gabriel tends to be the archangel of communication. But I see Gabriel with you in two ways. Number one, helping you communicate your truth and your feelings, and with yourself first of all, and with other people. But also, Archangel Gabriel has traditionally been the herald when really incredible things are being birthed into the world. And so Archangel Gabriel is there also to herald your passion project that you really want to create. And so that is the energy that feels very much supportive of you at this time. But I see so many angels around you. So you can just call on your angels in general, but Gabriel feels like the one who's with you all the time right now.
Thank you. Thank you. That's so beautifully put. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Carolyn. So again, it's about following your joy, you know?
Yes. Thank you, Alara. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go to Odile had a question about, will I have a new job in February working on the ski slopes?
It's interesting. There
Hold on one
feels like so many different variables in terms of the answer to this question. It's like, well, you know, will the weather be a certain way? You know, will humanity be messing with the weather? Will, you know, so it feels like a lot of different variables in terms of just being left to chance. However, what the angels are showing me, if you get very clear on the kind of job you want, in terms of, you obviously want to be working on the ski slopes, and then how would that feel to you? How would it feel for you to have a job on the ski slopes? And you keep going back to that vision and that feeling constantly, instead of going into the energy of will it unfold, feeling how it feels when it unfolds. They're showing me that then is a whole different story, because then you're not leaving it up to chance. You are taking the reins, you are controlling your thoughts, you're moving energy in a very focused direction. And then the universe can take those feelings, and if it's not a job on that ski slope, they'll bring you something even better, because you've been very specific about the energy that you want to feel. So yes, I feel that. I just feel you in those feelings, and creating something that's absolutely perfect for where you are now. You just have to keep moving into that energy.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. Randy, you want to unmute yourself?
Hey.
Hello. Hi, Randy.
How's my mic? Oh.
Good. Good.
Yeah, times of late I've sure. You know what? I sum it up like this: without the wide spectrum of experiences that we're having, how could we ever understand as much about where we choose to center?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that way you can even love some of the stuff that's other than love, because you're bringing it back inward rather than some of those other popular patterns, to put it mildly. My question is about my location. I'm trying not to move, but there's some pressing stuff that comes from other family, and am I going to be moving? Thank you. I love you.
So there's a couple of things that are coming through. So the first piece, to your point, and the light spectrums, like we are all points of light of the same being, of the same breath, of the same energy. And so no matter which one of us is doing something on the earth and what we're doing, that is also a reflection of ourselves, because we all go back to the same source. We're all part of the same source. And so, you know, there's pieces of ourselves all over this planet doing things that are questionable, or doing things that are joy-filled, or doing good or bad or whatever. And it's just remembering that we are all of the same essence. And so I love how you stated all of that. Again, just like we were just talking about with the ski slope, it's getting very clear on what would make you feel the best. How do you want to feel in your living situation? What is it that you love about where you live? Can you move into deep gratitude and oneness about all of those things, and getting very clear, because that energy, that force will override everything else. You know, it will push all of that other stuff away from you, because you're staying so rooted and so centered in knowing what would bring you joy. And then the angels are showing, if you do eventually have to move, you're in that joy, you're in the feelings that you want to have in your living space. And guess what? You're going to find something that aligns even more with that, even though you didn't think that was possible. So, you know, maybe you do and maybe you don't, but that's what they're showing me. It's really getting into those emotions and those feelings. And I keep hearing the word freedom. It feels like freedom, feeling free and feeling unshackled and untethered is something that is very important to your soul. And I just see your energy just flying when you really touch in with that, and you'll be led to the exact right place, whether it's where you're standing now or the next place. I hope that makes sense.
Well, that's all I came for and more. Because, you know, I'm there, and yet there's just so many reminders of that other stuff, and yet I'm still there, and being at peace in my heart with other people doing what they're going to do. It makes a difference. And I thank you for reminding me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
It's so important right now. And I love that you're bringing this, because it's so important for us. This is a time of action, right? This is a time every single one of us is being called into action to address issues in the world in some way, you know, to make things better, to make things lighter. And when we can move into our heart center and stay there, we'll know the actions that come from the heart. We won't be able to be swayed or persuaded to take action from any other place than our heart. And so I'm so glad that we got to talk about that too, because we are living in a time of necessary action.
Good. Thank you, Randy.
And others. And thank you.
And choose from your heart, obviously. Yes, which you're already there. So it's great. Jane, go ahead. You want to unmute yourself?
Hi, Alara and Theresa. It's Jane. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Theresa, we're still in Minnesota. I just have a quick question about if the angels have anything to say about my husband's job, because that's really what's tethering us. And he doesn't want it, we don't want it, but we do want something else, or even maybe just to be cut free altogether.
Mm-hmm. So I see two things that they're showing me. The first is your husband feels like, and I'm not reading him, they're just showing me this in how it's necessary for the answer. It feels like he's become feeling a little bit disempowered around job and work and the situation in general. So it's important for him to start, and for you to I guess assist as someone in the house, like getting the power back around those things. What feels important, there feel like two things. I feel another job that's different and more aligned, and I also feel like he may have to just like walk out. You know, if this doesn't feel aligned, he may just have to like come to the place in himself where he just says, okay, I need to walk out. And so there's no recommendation here about doing that without him checking in with what feels right to him or not, but this feels like a big thing for him, and how he will move forward professionally and interpersonally in his life from this point. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. There is some talk that he might get let go.
Okay.
Which would be ideal, truly. And I'm just wondering if that's a possibility, or if it looks like he's going to be forced to walk out.
That's always a possibility. And I think that it would be good if he could call on his angels and his divine team in whatever way he feels. And you can do this also for your family. And he can say to them, it would be really great if I could get laid off, and like give them that option, let them know that it would bring him the most joy to do things that way. But if that's not in his soul's highest learning, then it might happen a different way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Jane. All right, so just I'm gonna go to Lisa. Lisa, do you want to unmute yourself? So you had a question, Lisa, about not being able to hear the angels and how we can develop that some more, right?
Yes. Hey, hi, Theresa. Thank you, Alara. How fortuitous
Ariel,
that this is, Ariel, that this is new moon. So it's all about intentions right now for the month, right? So we can invoke for full and have release. Sometimes, I'm just going to be honest. I get so jealous because you can hear it. And I'm like asking them, talk to me. No, you don't have to talk to me like you talk to Theresa, but throw me a bone, throw me a bone, and because I really, me, I to not be an overachiever, but to really, I know that my purpose is to be working with this, to be a force for light and righteousness, the goodness that is inherent in all of us, and to work with that now and put that out there. Sometimes I just get off track, and what can I do to better develop that communication? And who's on my team? Who am I neglecting? I want to apologize and call them in.
You're not neglecting anyone. They're all like, she talks to us all the time.
Shut up.
No, not that. So yeah, I mean, that's such a beautiful, rich question. And I know you've been asking this like from your heart, from your soul. What's important is that we don't all interpret information the same way. So some people, all the clairs, we see, we hear, we feel, we know, like all of the things. So it's about, with the angels, which is your clair, which is the sense that they can speak with you through the most, right? Then when you really rest into communicating in that way, so maybe it's not hearing for you, maybe it's seeing, maybe it's the sense of smell, maybe it's just a knowing, like they give you this sense of knowingness when you have to take an action. So just really feel into that, because by working from that way of communicating, the other ways open up. And that's with any psychic ability. But the other piece, and this is what a lot of us do with wanting to develop psychic ability, is we reach, like we're like, okay, I want to communicate with you. Come here. I want to I want, and there's an energy of trying to actively pull, trying to actively do. When working with the angels, they're talking to us all the time. And what we need to do is just slow ourselves down enough to get in the frequency of their vibration, right? So their vibration is high, but it's also moving like this as opposed to this, So when we can slow ourselves down and move into that place, the communication.
I've been very still. It's been hard for me to get motivated to move. I was rowing up until the point that I was called on. So I think that I'm listening to that, because there does need to be some stillness, right? Like Matt Kahn and Kyle Gray, like you got to sit to hear. Now, can you give me a hint? At least they won't talk. I'm not getting, who is my guardian angel? Is that something that I should even be concerned with, or just the essence of it just comes when I call?
The essence always comes when you call. The angel is with you all the time, your guardian angel, and we tend to change those over our lifetime based on our mission. Yeah, so they're showing me your guardian angel's name starts with a C. That's what they're showing me, and they're saying she has the ability to tune in, and so that's what they want you to know. So start asking them, like when you're meditating, to ask for more information. Just feeling in. I feel you, obviously. Okay, so I feel you on your etheric DNA. We all have angelic etheric DNA also. I feel you as a mixture of Michael and Ariel. And so you might want to try, I mean, I know you talked to Michael, and try, both of those angels seem to be working through you in different ways. So you're a mixture of those two. So those would be my go-to, because that will be your easiest point of communication, because you're carrying the DNA.
Oh, that was so helpful. Oh my God. Thank you. Let somebody else go. Thank you, Alara.
Thank you, Lisa. That was great. Thank you. All right. So yeah, we can take some more questions in a moment, but first I want to talk a little bit about the package special offer that you have for us today. Please, Theresa, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh yeah, there you are. So we can take more questions in a few minutes, but I want to talk about the special offer. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. Those of you who are not, you can go to alara.at/show/Theresa1. And this is a brand new package. So we haven't offered this before on the show. So Theresa, do you want to take us through the package a little bit?
Sure. So the package is called Angels and Miracles Every Day, and it's designed specifically to keep you in this vibration throughout the year, because we're in a very powerful time of manifestation right now. And so the first piece of the package is the Miracles Everyday meditation package, and it's a combination of different meditations that you can do every day if you want, or choose and pick what works for you when, that will bring clarity, relaxation, a sense of well-being, increased purpose, and trust. That's what they're designed to do. They're through your angels. All the meditations always come through the energy of the angels. So that's really the first piece, is to get us deep into trust. And so that's part one. The second piece is the group angelic support session, which will be happening. It'll be a call. We'll be gathering from all over the world on February 26th to receive messages from the angels, to release limitations, to release anything that's ready to go, and to bring in completely new frequencies, and to heal together as a group. Will be activated so that we can increase the way we hold light on this planet and anchor into why we're here and this co-creative process called life that we find ourselves in. And so that is the second part. It's a live call on February 26th. And then the third piece is the Visioning Your Year workshop. So this is how to create your vision and a vision board for the year. It's 3 parts, and in those 3 parts, I'll walk you through the process, and then you'll have time to go and complete the exercise and come back, and I'll walk you through the next process. So this is a pre-recorded audio video workshop, and your vision board then will serve as your reminder throughout the year of what it is that you want to manifest. And we'll talk about in the course also how to shift that and change it as you find things moving through your year. So that's package A, and the price is $97 for that. And then package B is all of that plus one-on-one angel reading with me. It's a recorded call where the angels will answer all of your questions and just bring as much love and peace in our conversation to you as possible. It's always a field of love and grace when we move into readings, and we move out of the reading knowing our connection is much stronger, and also knowing what unconditional love truly is, so that we can co-create it and command it for the rest of our experiences. And those are really beautiful. These readings are always so much fun and so powerful. So for package B, package B, the price is $197. And so I'm so grateful to be able to offer these things to all of you because I know how powerful this community is in their dedication. So if these tools can help you, I am just so grateful to be here and be able to offer them.
Beautiful. Thank you, Theresa. And what can people expect in the 30-minute live call with you, live personal session with you?
It's a conversation between you and your angels, really. And, you know, somebody a couple weeks ago was just like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. I was so nervous. I was so worried that, you know, I would say something wrong or not ask the right thing. And she's like, it just flowed. And that's exactly what it is. It's like sitting in conversation with your angels. And sometimes they're speaking directly through, sometimes they are like, it's almost like I'm interpreting between things. But the most fun part for me is how much information they give me before we even get on the call together. So I come to the call knowing you and knowing pretty much you know, where the energy needs to go. And then when you ask your questions, I've already been given the answers very often. And so it's just a validation of how much they are with us all the time and how much they know us, because we have no idea. They know every little nuance of what we need and they anticipate our needs before we even know they exist. So that's the beautiful part of these experiences.
And should people come with a set of questions ahead of time, like a preset questions?
You can. I mean, my experience is that as humans, we always have questions we want answered, right? So you can totally bring those, or you can just show up and say, well, what do they want to tell me? Or it can be a combination of those things. I'll always ask you if you have questions. So it really is about how you want to navigate through the reading and, you know, how much you want to test me.
Beautiful. I love it. Good. Thank you. So again, package A is those 3 components, and that's $97. Package B is those 3 components, so everything in package A plus a 30-minute personal live session with Theresa for $197. And the live session with Theresa is recorded, so then you can go back and re-listen to it again, because sometimes we miss little pieces when the first time around. So it helps to go back and listen again, because then you get pieces that you kind of miss. It's like, oh yeah, I don't remember her saying that before, but yeah. All right, so that's there for you. And I'm assuming as well, Theresa, is like, it's not just, you know, words, it's also energies flowing through you during the call too. So it's also a healing call of sorts.
It's energy flowing through, but it's also, it's so interesting because we say angel readings and, you know, that's predominantly the energy that shows up, but sometimes it's relatives, sometimes, you know, it's anybody who is needed for your highest good and for the highest light and the highest outcome. And I set the space up, and the angels work with me to set the space up as the most healing environment that it can be. So it is words, you know, we don't pause and do energy work, but there's always the energy of healing that comes with the messages. And that's my intention really is, you know, I want everybody to experience unconditional love and to be as whole as possible when doing any kind of work together. So I'm so grateful for, I mean, I can't believe how many people have allowed me into their lives in this way. And I'm just always so overwhelmed and grateful. Beautiful.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, just reading some of those testimonials, I know you have a lot more, but you know, even you know, talking with you, you know, personally myself, it's like, it's always a very inspiring, supporting conversation, but energy and like your integrity shows through, it comes through you all the time, you know, of how much you want somebody to feel good, feel better, feel loved, know that, you know, we're always supported, and that, you know, we are unconditionally loved all the time. That always comes through every interaction with you. So thank you for that. So do you want to take some more questions, Theresa?
Sure, if you would like to. Your show.
I know, right? We'll take a few more. Angela is asking, 2020 brought so much grief to many. It has left many families in a low vibration with anger. How can the angels help us to ease the families in such situations? Can't talk.
Yeah, that is such a heartfelt question, and I'm just feeling the depth of that and the healing that you're bringing through just by asking that. So thank you. The angels are showing me that this will become easier over time. There's been a lot of heartbreak, a lot of heartache, a lot of energy to move through that, as you say, left people in low vibrations. But as things start to shift and change and this energy is moved through, it's like hindsight is 2020. As we can look back on things and see why things happened the way they did in order to open up new doors that wouldn't have been open otherwise, that's when we can rest into more of the healing. So right now, what we can do as families is to know, to get in touch with what our vision is for what we would rather than where we are right now. Get in touch individually and as a family, and then start to hold that vision. How do we want to feel is the most important part of that vision, not what does it look like. How do we want to feel? And then as we move into that vibration, that energy can start to flow to us and then out to the world. It's important also, though, to process through the emotions that we're left with after 2020, right? The anger, the frustration, the pain, the sadness. Like sadness, depression is anger turned inwards. So if we don't work through our anger, eventually we're going to find ourselves depressed. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about clinical or chemical depression. So it's just about calling on our support team, asking them to help with this, and then really getting in touch with what's next and finding a way to process through the emotions. I know that there is a lot of government supported help available in a lot of places for processing through these things as individuals and as a family. So it might just involve a little bit of searching, to be, and also privately funded help as well. So if we do need extra help, we should be Googling and looking for those things.
Absolutely. Good. Thank you, Angela. Beverly's asking, what does the number 11 mean to the angels? I kept seeing it yesterday, the date, when I look at my phone, the clock, 11 messages on my machine.
Mm-hmm.
What are the angels trying to tell me with 11? I'm also an 11 life purpose, by the way.
Nice. Okay, so 11, I'm tuning into it with you. 11 is always a master number. It's a number that always says to me that the masters are around. Mm-hmm. And it feels like you are being called into self-mastery this year. So it just feels like this is a reminder. Your soul and your angels are reminding you constantly that you're being called into self-mastery. Like you have all of the things within you. It's just a matter of, okay, where am I going next with this? And they're also, the angels are showing me like it's also fun for them to give you all of these 11s because they're like, we got you again, So it's a way of them playing with you and calling you into the next level of your own evolution and just reminding you constantly of that.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. And so, yeah, 11s, I tend to see 11s too sometimes. And so for me, it's always about when I see the number 11, I focus on like, what am I focusing on right now? Being aware of my thoughts, and if it's negative, do something to uplift it, or even like go into like, okay, why am I so negative? Why am I having this negative thought? What's going on here? So just being aware of your thoughts.
And so I saw a question before, like, does mantra help? Like, so when you see an 11, if it's something that happens to you all the time, or a 3 or whatever, say a mantra, do something to commemorate that energetic exchange. And Michelle's asking about 1111. For me, 1111 is always galactic. Mm-hmm. So, that's always been a thing, like just our galactic brothers and sisters letting us know that we are protected, we are watched over, and that their wisdom is available to us at every moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Thank you. Pat, do you want to unmute yourself?
I was hoping that you'd unmute Pat because she's sitting here just shining in her glory. She's just, you got such a beautiful light.
Oh, Pat, you muted yourself.
Unmute.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
Gotcha. Thank you, Theresa. You're answering my questions as I'm listening to everything because I see 1111s. I see 933s, 2222s. I get that. But is there an angel I can connect with that will help me with I'm feeling very off balance today. And, I'm having some physical issues, aches and stuff. I'm wondering, is this the frequency I'm trying to deal with or integration that I'm dealing with to step into my mastery?
Yeah. So they're showing me your soul is your soul is old, right? You are an old soul. And all the different numbers are aspects of your soul reminding you of various things, right? So the 1111 is one part. And then the 933 feels like a reminder to be comfortable with change. 222 feels very much like get back into your heart, my dear, like those kinds of things. Yeah. So it's just such a beautiful combination. They're showing me for you, you are so empathetic and such a light. So today you're processing a lot of what's going on in the collective.
That's what I'm feeling. That's what I thought.
You're processing through a lot of it. Your intention was to transmute as much as possible.
Okay.
If it's too much, tell your angels, tell your team, tell your higher self, it's too much for my physical body. That doesn't mean the work will get any less. You'll still be doing the same amount of work, but your physical system will be feeling less of it.
Okay.
They don't know unless we tell them. Okay. The other thing is we're having a very powerful moon situation right now, like the lunar energy. This is very, very powerful. We're in the most powerful week of the year astrologically right now. So that's also going to leave us all feeling really happy and really clear, and then really something else.
Yes.
So
yes.
just honoring that. I see the water in your system being all, like the ebb and flow of the tide. So maybe honor yourself with a bowl of salt in your space, or having a saltwater bath or something like that.
And I got into I'm on pH Miracle. I alkalize my body, and I was guided to increase the pH salt, 2 times a day.
So you see, you're already getting all of these messages. I love this. I love it. And I feel Archangel Ariel around you very strongly, very strongly.
Okay, that's nice.
Beautiful.
Angel Ariel. Okay.
Yeah, she's the archangel of ferocious love.
Oh,
So
awesome.
she is the most loving, healing force. And then she's called the Lioness of God.
Yes.
When you mess with her cubs, So yeah, beautiful. Oh.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I needed to hear this support, and I love Alora. I mean, I always feel this is like my family, my soul family to come with, and I was guided to connect with you. There's so much
thank
stuff
you.
I listen to and connect with, but I felt guided to come back with Alora. I
Awesome.
thank you so much, Theresa.
Thank you. Namaste.
Loving gratitude. Love you. Love you.
Thank you,
Love
Pat.
Love you.
Neo is playing right now. He's being a little frisky and playing right now. All right, we're going to take just one or two more questions, and then we're going to call it a day. Just so there was something. I know, right? It's like I saw something. Just trying to get there. 1 second, folks.
I'm just watching the chat here.
I know, right? All right, so Heidi was asking a question. Oh, hold on one second. There was something about losing weight. Just 1 second. So somebody was asking, is there an angel to help lose weight?
Just
I don't know
feeling
where it went, but
I'm feeling into the person who asked the question.
oh, Renee. Sorry, it was Renee.
So Renee, it feels like your guardian angel can help you with this. And there's 2 things that feel really important here. I knew there was a reason why when Alara said about the ice cream before, I shared what I shared. And it feels very important here because it feels like some of the weight you're holding is not based on anything but energy of judgment of, all of the things that we just adopt as true. And so that feels really important, to realize that that's what you're going to be dropping, is that energy of judgment, that energy of not being in joy when you're making the choices of what to put in your body or how to move your body. So your guardian angels will be good with that. I also feel Archangel Gabriel with you. And so there feels like an element of you moving into more of you sharing your truth instead of swallowing it all the time. I feel the weight with you is very energetic because you are so sensitive. You're such a sponge. So let us know if that makes sense to you and if that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Melissa was asking, do the angels have a message for me about my dog Arrow? He's experiencing a serious health issue. I'm trying to trust my intuition around this issue, even though it is seen differently by those of maybe a more professional nature. I want to stay in the highest vibration for Arrow and not let any fear rule. Yeah.
It's always really hard when, especially with a pet or a child, for us to be in an unbiased state, especially when they're hurting and there's a health issue. So I just want to say that because we're so invested in them. We're so in the heart. We just love them so much. And that's what I feel for you too. I also feel like you're very connected to your intuition. And you're also very connected to what Arrow is telling you. And so it feels very important for you to honor what you're receiving intuitively, but also not to shut out any of the other information coming, to run it through your heart monitor to see if any of it feels true or right, and then come up with a perspective from the combination of all of those things. It's so funny because Arrow's just like, yeah, I'm good. Arrow feels very much like a calm presence about all of this. And so, Arrow is taking care of you also at this time and will lead you to the right decision. So pay attention to following that guidance, and I honestly didn't believe any of this till I had to go through it with a pet myself. And my friend said, oh, your pet will let you know, like his name was Sebastian will let you know when these things need to be done. And I didn't believe it. And he let me know in no uncertain terms when he needed things. So just trust that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Linda's asking, last question. Do the angels have any comment on the med beds and when they might be available to heal our planet? I know we talked about med beds on a call with somebody else last year or sometime, but.
Yeah. What I'm feeling very much the energy of Archangel Metatron working in conjunction with this question. And I see light energy and energetic frequency filtering through Metatron. So it feels like calling on Archangel Metatron to assist in this situation and to help move the energy around this will be very helpful. And also I saw some questions about stilling the mind. Same thing. If you're having trouble stilling your mind and bringing your thoughts to center, Metatron can help with that too.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. All right. So, any like at this time, because of everything that everybody's going through with the pandemic, all the uncertainty, is there any specific angels that we should be calling on to help us with that, with, giving us more peace and ease in our hearts, but also, like you said, calming our minds, call on Archangel Metatron, but it's more about the feeling more safe and secure. And especially as we're moving into like the new moon energies today, right? New moon in Capricorn, how can we have the angels assist us also with creating new intentions moving forward?
This is so important to remember as we're processing through all of this stuff, to continue to hold the vibration of what we want for ourselves and for the world in terms of how we want this life experience to feel, right? And then allow all the situations to align to those feelings and not worry about what it looks like. This is very powerful time for that. We're all moving more into our co-creative abilities. Some of us are coming to those through fear. Right? Whenever we are moving closer to truth, everything that's untruth comes up and starts yelling, right? And it's the same with any sort of situation. Cancer cells in the body, when we're eradicating them, they ask for sugar to replenish themselves. So that's what happens. What we need to do now is to be open to calling on all of the realms of angels. We are familiar with the archangels. We're familiar with the concept of guardian angels, but there's the dominions, there's the seraphim, there's the cherubim, there's, the powers. There's all sorts of realms of angels that we're not as familiar with. So what we can do is petition the divine to send the exact right energies, the exact right angels to assist Earth in the evolutionary process that she's going through, not only as a planet, but as a planet that sustains our lives and the lives of all of the beautiful creatures on it. And so how can we do this together? Please help us. And when we petition from that place, or we can just ask the angels directly, a lot of people like to go through the divine for that. But to be calling on and open to every realm of angels at this point to assist us as a globe and as a universe in this process.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Because you're right. Normally we just call on our guardian angels and our archangels. We forget about the thrones, the principalities, principles, the virtues, you know, etc. And there's so many beings of light in the angelic realm, willing and able to help us. But we need to reach out. We need to ask. And if we ask for global help, we're part of that global family, so we will receive it as well. Right, but it's also about the whole planet, all of humanity and all the beings on this planet. Oh yeah, and the universe. Absolutely.
There's just two things: you are always heard, and you are always answered.
Yeah, you're always heard, and you're always answered. So please stop thinking in your head only and just to yourself. You know, speak your words to the divine, to your team, to the angels, and ask them to help. Right? So whether you're speaking out loud or in your head, but just speak to them and ask for help. Because right now, I think a lot of us, we need it, right? So this is beautiful. Thank you. And again, you know, please do take a look at the special offer. This is really going to be helpful now, especially with the visioning, especially with the group angelic support, and especially with recognizing that there are, you know, angels always around us all the time. There are miracles everywhere, and we can tune in and tap into those miracles every day. We can tune in and tap into the angels every day, and we can start to vision our new life into being from a feeling space from our heart that is going to be for the highest good of ourselves and everybody else. So please do take a look at that package. Work with Theresa, you know, get a 30-minute session with Theresa as well. That's going to be just like amazing for you. So those packages are available at alara.at/show/Theresa1. Thank you so much, Theresa. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So much information came through, so many readings, so much, you know, wisdom, and, you know, the angels are always around you when you're speaking. So I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here. It's just such a pleasure to spend time with all of these beautiful souls with such heartfelt intention. So thank you. Thank you, Alara.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for your questions. I know we didn't get to everybody, but thank you so much for all being here, for your support and being here, and, you know, sharing your questions, being vulnerable, asking, because it helps all of us. So thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.